When you find yourself in a fight that's harder than you thought you were going to be in, you can't fix it in the ring.
This fight comes down to who's more prepared for war. Because at first glance, this looks like a corporate layup for Paddy the Baddy. A marketable star on a win streak, cleverly matched with a journeyman Justin Gaethje who's lost 3 of his last 7, and everyone remembers sleeping on that Monster Energy logo. But this isn't the first time Gaethje's ruined a UFC narrative, especially when the guy he's facing is more focused on his next fight than the one he's in. So will Paddy the Baddy run through Justin Gaethje to set up the bad blood money fight that Paramount wants? Or will Justin prove that this is not WWE, and that hype and handouts don't make you an elite fighter? With Gaethje losing 3 of his last 7, many people are wondering why he's even getting this title shot. And you'd have to be super biased to say that Paddy hasn't looked impressive since joining the UFC. 7 wins, 3 submissions, 2 KOs, and 1 robbery. But who has he really beaten? Tony Ferguson? Bobby Green? Michael Chandler? Nice names if this were 2018, but their combined record since 2022 was 2-12 when they got to Pimblett. So even though it seems like Paddy is some legend killer and Gaethje's name is next up on a tombstone, I have some questions for you. How would Paddy the Baddy have done against Max Holloway? Or Charles Oliveira? Or even the Poirier that Gaethje beat? I definitely don't see those being as dominant. Maybe he could grapple Max to a decision win in a 3-round fight, but I'd be really surprised if he beat Charles or Poirier. So it seems clear that Paddy hasn't really been tested yet against a top 5 opponent, and although this maybe didn't need to be a title fight, Justin Gaethje is the perfect test to see if he belongs at the top of the division. Something interesting to notice from Gaethje's last 2 fights is that his opponents are starting to pick up on his patterns, especially the fact that he dips his head whenever he comes in, leaving him open to uppercuts, knees, or even this spinning back kick that Max trained to punish that exact habit. So with Pimblett's camp being known to game plan for their opponent's weaknesses, it begs the question, is there too much tape on Justin Gaethje? But there's also another big question. With Justin being knocked out cold in the final second of a 5-round war with Max Holloway, can his chin hold up against a shot from Paddy the Fatty? I'm expecting Paddy to have an answer for Justin's leg kicks and some weapons to exploit his bad habits, but Pimblett has weaknesses of his own, and Gaethje has one of the best coaches in the game in Trevor Whitman. If you watch Paddy's fights, you'll notice that he overextends on his hooks a lot, leaving his chin wide open to get cracked, and if Luigi Vendramini can find your chin and wobble you, what happens when the hardest hitter in the division finds it? I'm sure people would argue that Paddy's grappling is going to be his not-so-secret weapon in this fight, but he was getting dominated in the wrestling by Michael Chandler until Chandler made a mistake and Pimblett's jiu-jitsu was able to take over. Gaethje's an accomplished wrestler, but only ever uses it defensively. So is Paddy really going to be able to decide where the fight goes, or is he going to be forced to stay in Justin's world of seeing who can crack the hardest? Because this is where preparation stops and habits take over. Paddy is very good at recognizing viral moments. When he hurts someone, he goes all in to end the fight. That's why his finishes look so explosive. But Justin Gaethje doesn't fight like that anymore. When he hurts someone now, he stays composed because he understands the fight's far from over yet. So I'm picking Justin Gaethje in this fight. Originally, I leaned towards Pimblett. The size, the momentum, the fact that the UFC is clearly pushing him. On the surface, it made sense. Gaethje hasn't had a ton of standout wins recently, like 2 of his last wins were against Rafael Fiziev. But the more I look at this, the more I think Paddy just hasn't fought someone like Gaethje yet, especially over 5 rounds. I don't see Paddy being able to take Gaethje down consistently. Maybe he gets 1 or 2 takedowns, but Gaethje isn't going to make that easy. So if Paddy starts failing on takedowns, lowering his energy and confidence, but extending his time on the feet with Justin, this could get ugly for him. I see Paddy struggling to get the takedowns he wants, getting frustrated, loading up on his punches, overextending on his hooks, and getting repeatedly punished for it. Gaethje has learned over years of fighting the best guys in the world that he doesn't need to throw every shot at 100% to damage you. He can pressure, chip away, and walk you down without burning himself out. As this fight gets into the later rounds, I see Paddy finding himself in a fight that's harder than he expected. And when that moment comes, Justin Gaethje is still going to be there. Gaethje can fight his fight for more than 5 rounds. His style isn't as explosive anymore. It's pressure-based. He trains at altitude in Denver, he manages his output, and he keeps coming. Paddy, on the other hand, uses a lot of energy. We saw it against Chandler. The moment he hurts someone, he empties the tank trying to finish. If Paddy has a moment like that against Gaethje and can't get him out of there, that's going to sap his gas fast. To me, Paddy really only has a puncher's chance here. Maybe I'm wrong and the grappling shows up in a big way, but it's not easy to get Justin Gaethje down, and it's even harder to keep him there. Gaethje's been in these fights. Paddy hasn't. I think Paddy Pimblett is in for a really tough fight. What do you think?